last time. So,
Yeah,
I am a researcher, so
right.
I like to look at history because I am a believer of the quotation that if you don't know your history, you tend to repeat it. If you don't know where
Yes,
you come from, then you might repeat what happened in the past. So I like to look at history. And when I
yes,
look at the Christian church as an example, I find that
yes,
the apostles formed the church. And after the apostles formed the church, in 590 AD, the Roman Catholic system deformed the church. And in the
mm,
1500s, when Martin Luther and the reformers came along, they reformed the church by
yes,
protesting against the Roman Catholic system and telling
right,
everybody, let's stick with the Bible. We don't believe that the Pope and the magisterium is hearing from God. They are not in the position to interpret the Bible for us. We need to
yes.
go back to the standard, right?
Right. So Martin Luther in the 99 edict wrote a procession. Uh,
95 Theses, the 95 Theses.
yes.
Yes,
Now,
and
what I'm saying is that I think I have some information about that as well.
yes,
I
and
think
I wouldn't doubt it. So,
yes, yes,
Mr. England, so in the 1500s, the 1600s, and the 1700s, we have what we call the church. It's back, it's persecuted, it's fighting against Roman
yeah,
Catholicism, and we have Orthodox theology, creeds, confessions, and all of that stuff. And then when
yes.
the 1800s came along,
Yes,
1800s, we have Mormonism. A man named
yes,
Joseph Smith said, God is
yes,
speaking through me and me alone follow me. He started a movement called
yes,
the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints. You have
right.
thousands of them all over the world, millions of them, as a matter of fact.
Yes, 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 yes,
After them, in 1863, so Joseph Smith was 1830, then 1863, we have Seventh day Adventism. Ellen G.
yes,
White said, Ellen G. White
yes,
said, I am the one God is speaking through, and nobody
yes,
else follow what I say. She started a
yes,
movement, and I'm sure you know a lot of 70 Adventists are in Jamaica. It is the biggest denomination in Jamaica. You see them everywhere.
yes. Yeah, that's correct.
And then
Okay. So they quote Ellen G. White as though she's a prophetess. I've never seen her in the Bible anyway, but they do that.
you
Yeah,
and I would both disagree that she is qualified to be a prophetess or even is a prophetess. And
yeah,
after her, based upon I'm just looking at everything, trying to find all the information I can, and I found that 1872, Charles Taze Russell at the age of 20 or 18. The dates vary because you look at history. They say he started the Bible study at in 1870 or 1872, which means he was 18 or he was 20.
yes,
So
yes,
either the age of 18 or the age of 20 was when
yes,
he started it. I don't know which one to
yes,
go with, so I just say both
yes.
of them.
That's
So because I don't know which one to go, I just quote them both, and I think that's the
yes,
safest way to go about it. And
yes,
after them, I'm not going to leave out the Pentecostals. After them, we have 1899, a man named Charles Fox Parham.
yes,
Their movement is different because unlike the Roman Catholics who say only the Pope and Magisterium hear from God, Joseph Smith only he hears from God, Ellen G. White only her hears from God. The Theocratic Organization of Jehovah's Witnesses, they are the channel of communication on earth. Only they hear from God. Pentecostals
yes,
say everybody in Pentecostalism individually have the Holy Spirit talking to them, and they are the ones who have a right to interpret the Bible. Even if it's
yes.
contradictory, everybody is a prophet.
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
So I'm on the outside looking in. I'm like, okay, I'm gathering all the information. And let me say this, I also found a lot of good things. And since I'm talking to a Jehovah's Witness, I can just state some of them. Jehovah's Witnesses
yes,
are loving, they are respectful, they are kind, they are very, let me tell you something. You often love somebody if you go walk and I had something to talk to them.
yes. Absolutely.
All right. I do
Yes,
not question the love and respect of Jehovah's Witnesses. I remember I spoke to a lady who was a Jehovah's Witness. She said, young man, I'm talking to you in the sun, and my doctor told me I'm not supposed to be in the sun. And I'm like, oh my
right.
goodness, let's go into the shade. And I was speaking to her, and I'm like, I respected how much she loves me, that she will stand in the
Yes,
sun to talk to me, even though she knows it's bad for her health. I don't question.
yes,
I don't question the
yes.
Jehovah's Witnesses are nice people and they love the people they are talking to.
I'm
But
very
my
dedicated
question,
as well.
yeah,
So very dedicated as well.
as a matter of fact, if I were to use an example of evangelistic zeal that every
Yes,
Christian in the world should try to catch up to, I would quote Jehovah's Witnesses any day of the week. There is good.
yes,
There is good.
yes,
So
yes,
I had to say that because sometimes I'm accused of only looking for the bad. I look for good and bad. I look for everything. So
Yes.
If I am looking in history, Mr. England, and I see accusations and quotations that seem to discredit the theocratic organization of the Jehovah's Witnesses, I am going to go to a Jehovah's Witness and ask. They are the best ones to ask, right?
That's
So-
right.
Yeah. Were you saying something?
No, I said that's correct. It's best to ask the individual, the person who are the
Yes.
actual persons, rather than to get it from somebody else.
Yes, that is the right way to go about it. It's the same way if, Mr. England, you heard something bad about me, you don't just believe it. You come to me and ask me about it. And then you hear what I have to say. But this is where my confusion comes in. When I ask a Jehovah's Witness about this, for example, there's a quote I heard one day in the past that the theocratic organization said that the resurrection of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob will take place 1925. And I'm like, that can't be true because 1925 passed a long time. I'm going to go and look it up. I looked it up and I'm like, wait a minute. There's a quote that said in the theocratic organization that they actually have a prophecy of what will take place, but then it did. I downloaded it. And when I went to Jehovah's Witness, I quoted it to him, and I said, "Is this true?" 1918, millions now living will never die. Quotation: We may confidently expect that 1925 will make the return of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the faithful prophets of old, then the condition of human perfection. Is that true? And they said yes. And I'm like, okay, if that's true, why do we have false prophecy from the theocratic organization that is hearing from God and has the responsibility of feeding the truth to God's people who are the Jehovah's Witnesses? That's the question.
Yes.
And that's an honest question. And I have to pose this to you, my friend. What would you say to answer this question? Because if I was a Jehovah's Witness, I would not know what to say. Trust me on that.
Right.